Hey, what's up, boys and girls? Welcome back. Bob here. Welcome back to Let's Play Berserk and the Bland of the Boingo. Now, oh man, okay, so I got a glimpse of the last time I recorded this game. That was about November 30th, I think. It's now midway through January. It has been an incredibly long time since I actually recorded Berserk. Part of the reason being is because I got sucked into with Brandon, so as a result, we did the entirety of a different recording session with him. I don't know if it's gonna be going up in time by the time you guys see this. So if it's not up in time, I'll censor this. But if it is, then cool. We did the entirety of yeah, it took a little bit. That took a lot of research on my part. So that'll be fun going up pretty soon. And since Berserk requires a lot of knowledge of a lot of subtext and information going on, I couldn't really record this concurrently with it, so now we're between recording sessions again. I have time to go ahead and finish this game up. And oh boy, do I want to wrap it up. Gonna be completely honest, I'm kind of gassed on this game already, partly because of the anime cutscenes took forever to get through. So as a result, it's been a little bit rough to actually export, but now we're well past that. I don't have to worry about fucking VHS filters making an export take like 3 hours anymore. Thank God. It took literally eternity and a half. Ugh, boy. But now that all that's behind us. Also, sorry for the recording session for the Black Swordsman arc. I haven't gone through editing it yet. I feel like I almost want to re-record it because it was kind of iffy. But, whatever. So, that was done. This is now. Let's focus on what we have in front of us. First of all, Conviction arc. Oh man. First of all, this is like 8 levels, I think. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 levels. That won't be too bad. I can honestly breeze through that in like probably a couple hours. Now I'm gonna address this really fast. There is no Lost Children in this game. Lost Children arc has actually never been adapted whatsoever in either anime, movies, games. I mean, I could make an argument for like Charles in the Berserk PS2 game for maybe being a slight allegory to Rosine. Maybe you could say that. I'm also going to be honest, even though Lost Children is considered part of the Conviction arc, I honestly don't think it is. Or at least like it doesn't fit that narrative, because like to me Conviction arc involves, you know, Tower Conviction, Holy Iron Chain Knights, you know, all that shit. I personally regard Lost Children arc to be more of the Black Swordsman arc, since it's you know, Guts going through the 2-year time span from with just going around mauling demons and getting further into darkness. You know, that's personally where I see that. Like, it's the end, quote unquote, of the Black Swordsman arc. I think that, granted, of course, it does divide it heavily between, you know, the Golden Age arc. So that way, there's just like 2 halves of the Black Swordsman arc on our side. I know about that, but honestly, I kind of consider it as such, because like, it's not like animes have in the past already gone all over the place with this narrative anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much, at least for me. Breathe, Bob, damn it. But yeah, no, Lost Children. Shame too, because honestly, Lost Children arc is one of the best arcs in the entire series. When I say Black Swordsman arc is probably the best, well, was the best series. Honestly, I think I like Millennium Falcon more now, but when I consider Black Swordsman to be like second best, I consider that including Lost Children, personally speaking. Controversial, probably, but that's just the way I kind of see it. But, you know, details. Anyway, so Conviction arc. I'm controversial. I actually think this might be the weakest arc of the entirety of Berserk. I know, weird. I mentioned this before in the PS2 game while I was starting it, because I was still making my way through the Millennium Falcon arc. And honestly, like, I do kind of consider a Conviction arc, despite it having a very strong beginning and having a very strong end, and being one of the very last arcs in Berserk to have a solid structure as such, it feels like its structure is kind of not great. I mean, it feels like you slash off literally like a third of the events that happen in the encampment before Guts shows up, and you don't lose much of value, but that's just me. I don't know. I don't personally put too much stock in a Conviction arc before Guts arrives. I mean, granted, it's obviously the setup, and the setup is important, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because my watching of it is tempered by the fact that I watched the 2016 anime first, before getting to the manga version. But even the manga version still feels like it kind of drags its heels a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm certain someone is ironically going to burn me at the stake, considering the subject matter at hand. But yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to stop rambling. So obviously this is after the Lost Children arc. And we get introduced to two new fun characters, Serpico and Farnese. Farnese? I'm pretty sure it's Farnese in the anime, right? I'm pretty goddamn certain it was. So I'm not going too insane here. Okay, what's the victory conditions here? Defeat strong curse spirit. Okay, cool. Oh boy. And of course, since I just did a whole other Dynasty Warriors game with Brandon, I have not touched this game in a very long time. But luckily, this game is very much like riding a bicycle. You know how to do it the first time, you're pretty much set. So let's just go ahead, jump right in, and see what we got. So, Holy Iron Chain Knights. Okay. Excuse me. First, before I get too far into this, I want to say first, I didn't reread the whole Conviction arc going into this. What I did instead was, because he is actually a really good content creator and probably actually the best Berserk content creator period right now. I'm gonna be honest here. Real life Ryan, the dude has actually gone through and done like kind of summaries of the entirety of Berserk. Like that was how I got to just going through the entirety of Conviction arc again and studying it for this, because I already watched the fucking anime twice already. I didn't really want to watch it again to go through this whole thing, so I'm like, no. So yeah, I think this, God, since it's been so long since I played this game, I don't remember much about how this game actually depicts the Conviction arc, so this will be marginally blind, kind of? So on that one. Also, boom. Pretty sure this is just generic level. I don't think you actually run into Farnese or Serpico here. But yeah, Real Life Ryan does really good stuff. He was how I managed to go through the entirety of the arc in record time and figure out, like, what am I missing? What note should I be taking? Oh yeah, all of the rampant religious allegories. We'll be getting to that as we go forward, but for the time being, yeah, that's how I managed to go through it all, and managed to do pretty safe for work too, because he actually does kind of censor the titties, so that's really nice, or most of the time. Anyway. Ooh, we are mentioning that. Okay. So luckily, luckily this game is covering this a little bit. Right at the tail end of the Lost Children arc, when Guts was walking away from having slaughtered Rosine, well, almost slaughtered. He didn't actually get a death blow on her, because go figure. Oopsie. Morality and all that stuff. You know, it's fun. So this is supposed to be a stand-in for the Beast of Darkness actually beginning to manifest in Guts. It's interesting because, like, the way the Beast of Darkness is first shown. First of all, I assume you know what the Beast of Darkness is by now, because if you watch my Berserk PS2 Let's Play, I go into it in fairly good detail there. It is essentially when it first appears, it starts off as like a shadowy mass that's beginning to take form, but it's not quite there because Guts steeped himself in just raw anger and death when he was going up against Rosine. I mean, it was already getting pretty bad when he was finding the slug count. I mean, the dude just full on, like, was going pretty hard nihilist there, but he still had, like, a sense of honor. Like, he was crying when he was walking away from the Count's daughter. I forgot her name offhand. Teresia? I think that was something like that. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a little bit. I have a lot of another series on my mind, so a lot of Berserk's kind of washed off for me, so that's why I need to study to get back into this. But, yeah, when you first do see the Beast of Darkness, it's kind of more of like a wispy shape. Escape to the forest. Is this it? Oh, I guess so. And it begins to grow larger and larger. For the first time you see it, it is that wispy form, but then, like, I think literally the second time you see it is actually when Guts is by that campfire that is inside of the mine, which is it's quite a bit bigger. It is definitely a bit bigger. Obviously relating to Guts' growing anger at apostles and his, like, obviously an allegory for his thirst and wanting of vengeance for those who spy at him. Obviously, it's weird how, like, actually subtle and easy to pick up on these allegories are when you get down to it. It's really nice. And luckily for me, I don't have to worry too much about learning Guts again, because still a really strong ass character. God, even though I did go through an entire other Warriors game, Guts still just feels so fucking strong with how he just handles in terms of gameplay. It's really nice. Sick. All right. Oh, the funny thing is, I think the tree that was at the start of the Lost Children arc is so like present throughout a lot of the games as like a common enemy, even though you never see the Lost Children arc period. To be fair, it'd be very hard to do anything for Lost Children arc because Rosine was like 13 years old, and as an apostle, her tits are always out. So yeah, I can see why you'd be dubious for anyone to want to get to that, even though it might be the strongest in terms of narrative. Yeah, nice. To give a really quick synopsis of it, the Lost Children arc really is a giant indictment of child abuse and how children perceive the world versus how adults do. It's honestly a really beautiful chapter, or a really beautiful like sub-arc. There's nothing incredibly graphic about it, save for the elves when they start playing war. That was ugh. But honestly, besides the fact that Rosine's tits are out 24/7, it's not that bad. Like, just watch it or read it with the brightness turned down or something, and no one else can see it, and like, you can kill it in an afternoon. Good old Friedrich Nietzsche fucking allegories. The whole thing about, but beware of staring into the abyss, because if you stare into it long enough, the abyss stares back, you know. Oh no, that wasn't it. Well, I mean, that's kind of one of them too. The whole analogy about, wow, this is a well done cutscene. Fuck, what was it? Oh yeah. This is also the time where Guts actually comes to accept Puck following him. I know, and it only took going through the Snake Baron and the Slug Count and then Rosine, but now Guts is willing to actually accept Puck. And this is the very first time he refers to Puck by name. It's absolutely adorable. Also, God, it's so... Mark Jaraisen really is the best Guts, because having gone through and rereading a lot of Guts' like lowest moments of anger, Jotaro just does not convey like Guts well whatsoever. Oh hey, Griffin Sack. No, he's not. Okay. Sorry. White Cape, immediately first thing that comes to mind. It's a natural reaction. Like, you can't say you'd be too surprised. So we're actually covering that here. Oh wow, we are. We're drawing Farnese without the really fucked up eyes here, which is unfortunate because that was a really nice detail, but you know what, it's fine. But yeah, this is rough. Guts is literally bled half to death. He's covered in wounds, and he can't even use really the sword armor anymore. And oh hey, a battalion of soldiers just happened upon him. Oh boy. I don't do something to any priest. Yeah, they burnt all the deaths that occurred from the Lost Children arc in the village and the children as such. It's being pinned on Guts squarely. I don't know if this is part of the whole fucking causality thing. Okay, this bothers me. Can I no, I can't press pause to skip this. I'm going to instead take off autoplay. I need to explain something that bothers the fuck out of me, because I'm not sure if this is a thing or if it's just being alluded to. So the whole thing about Guts is that he's supposed to be like, he's still not really with the flow of causality. So as a result, like, he's kind of like a fish that's not really like going against the current, but he's jumping out of the water and causing ripple effects. So he doesn't really fit into causality's plan. But the thing is, the whole thing about the Hawk of Darkness and how Guts is feeding directly into the God Hand's plan to resurrect Griffith. Spoiler alert, that happens. Does this mean that Guts' actions right now are by accident, purely, and it's just a chaotic factor, but the Guts and the God Hand are just playing with it, or rolling with it? Or is this actually feeding into causality's design? This whole thing about causality is fucking bullshit, I still hate it. But this really makes it confusing. Like, is Guts being blamed for all the deaths of these people his own raw doing? Wow, Mario Max. Or is this part of causality's working? It's really fucking vague, and I really hate it. Not even so much. This is one of the reasons I really do not like the whole thing about causality. Sure, idea of evil, yeah, I absolutely buy that. Like, there's nothing also been really to openly dispute that original chapter either. It was just omitted from publication, but it still kind of exists technically in like a weird limbo. But then, but also like, it really does feel like you're railroading yourself when you try to throw out that every single thing that happens is preordained and you have no concept of will whatsoever. It's iffy. I'm not sure exactly like what's feeding into what here. It's really questionable. God, I forget how bright the game gets when you actually have Max Rage on. It's amazing. Yeah, I'll just fucking leave. You cut down my friend. Yes. So the Holy Iron Chain Knights is kind of a joke. That might sound rude and you might think I'm exaggerating, but the way it's presented is that it's literally just kind of more of a ceremonial, or at least the way Serpico describes it. Pretty boy knights. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Holy Iron Chain Knights are really just more of like a ceremonial kind of brigand among the Holy See. Oh boy. So, I mentioned before, obviously, that, well, if the entirety of Lost Children is an indictment of child abuse, the entirety of Conviction Arc is a giant indictment of the Catholic Church. I'm gonna give this excuse me, my lisp. I'm gonna give this disclaimer right now. Believe what you want to believe, unless that belief involves hurting others, in which case, fuck yourself. What your religion is absolutely cool. That's your thing. It's not a thing for me to question. You can believe what you want to believe. It's fine. Where I personally take issue with a lot of things is how leadership of religions goes. Like, i.e., you know, the witch hunts of the two major ones. You know, the Salem witch trials and the German witch trials of like the 1600s. I want to say 1500s. There's that. Crusades. Just like the whole way, like the Vatican controlled a lot of like workings back in Europe, and how it was very obvious they were just trying to usurp power. And once it became like the way they held their fist over medieval Europe, that's what I really have problems with. Outside of that, I don't really have any issues with Christianity or Catholicism. Catholicism is just kind of strange to me, but that's a different matter. Although I will definitely say that this might offend one or two people, but if you're watching this, I don't think you really care. Mormonism is kind of a cult, kind of in the way they operate. That's just, I don't care what you believe, but like, yeah, the way it's structured is kind of odd. Sorry, I had to throw it out there. I will never talk shit about Judaism or Hinduism, because honestly, the religions are really cool. But you know that. Outside of that, yeah, no, the Holy See is a giant allegory for the Roman Catholic Church. It's very obvious, like it's dressed up as the Holy See, but honestly, like you know, just take that out and replace like the name with the Holy Roman Church and the icon they have with the actual cross. It's literally just like a bird nailed cross style to like an object. It's really on the money. It's really, really on the money. It's like Spaceballs level of parody at some points. It's kind of beautiful. So eventually, Guts did succumb to his wounds from a rogue rock in the manga. Okay, so the manga and the anime tell this very differently, because obviously the anime doesn't have Lost Children arc to set it up. Guts just kind of goes to like an overnight battle generically and ends up getting rocked by the Holy Iron Chain Knights, sort of, via Serpico. That is a common ground. Serpico does do things for both, take down Guts kind of in both. So that's kind of cool. I was going somewhere with that. What the hell is that again? Fuck. But yeah, they're told a little bit differently, because 2016 opens with it with no Lost Children arc to set up. So that's fun. And Guts gets taken prisoner and is in front of Farnese here, who is very much... I mentioned that her dad is in essence Jeff Bezos, and it's still very true. The Vendimians are like the most wealthy family in what is not Italy in this universe. It's very much like that. And because she was a bit of a problem child, because she was sheltered and pretty temperamental and spoiled, Farnese was moved to the front lines of the Holy Iron Chain Knights because, hey, we gotta do something with her, fuck it. Excuse me. And now we have a very interesting dichotomy. Farnese, who has a half-hearted belief in a god because she doesn't have anything else to really cling on to, and Guts, who has seen God, 5 of them in fact. One of them fucked his girlfriend in front of him. Fun. Yeah, this is very interesting. Guts has also obviously had to deal with like not really he actually doesn't have like a lot of sort of history with the actual Holy See in the past, from what I understand, outside of like the loose connections that the King of Midland had with them. God, these animations for Dynasty Warriors, they are great. But this is hilarious. Whoop. Let me just rotate his model 90 degrees. Wait, is this guy supposed to be a stand-in for Azan? Damn, that is rough, dude. Excuse me. I don't think this exchange between Serpico and Guts was actually in the manga, by the way. I think that was exclusive to the anime, so it's interesting they managed to squeeze that in here. So I meant, okay, I'm gonna address this elephant in the room again right now. I don't think the 2016 anime is anywhere near as bad as people make it up to be, because wow, that glow, holy crap. So where do I go with this? What exactly is bad about the 2016 anime outside of the obviously questionable animation and art style? Because the sound effects were fixed in the Blu-ray version. Like they actually were. There's nothing. Oh my god, what is with this direction? Like literally, outside of that, what exactly is wrong with the 2016 anime? Like the choreography is rough, but like that's a visual aspect. Outside of the visual aspect, what exactly is wrong with it? Because the story is still there, and honestly, if you're gonna be real with yourself, it tells the conviction arc in a 12-episode span actually pretty well. Like legitimately, there's really cut out or neutered. The season 2 and the 2017 version does actually nix a lot of things from its narrative. You know, off the top of my head, obviously, Farnese's whole thing with the Vendimian family and like all that crap, that's gone in the 2017 anime. 2016? I'm going down a list in my head right now, and literally nothing is really nixed. Nor is there really anything really to exclude, besides like, they kind of squeezed in that monster that was like that crashed into Goto's mind, like right after Guts like got his Dragon Slayer. That's really it. That's like the only thing that really was included after the fact. So besides that, like no, nothing's really missing here. If anything, they add stuff. So, got me.